Very happy that you waited an hour because we have a phenomenal guest today. Diane Wilson is here. You'll meet Diane in just a moment. And we're so lucky to have Diane with us on the lounge. But first, happy Monday. Please feel free to say hello if you're in the Zoom room. Please say hello to each other and maybe something you're grateful for as we start this new week. That's a fun way to start. So let's go ahead and make sure everybody is muted just so that we have a nice clean recording. And hello to all of our friends on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. We are so happy you're here. If you want to get in the VIP Zoom room and be with us and our guests live and interacting, all you need to do is send a message to care@saraconnell.com and you will get the Zoom link, the secret Zoom link, and it's completely free. And you just get to come be our guest on Mondays like these amazing thought leaders here with us in the room today. So the Thought Leader Lounge, if you're new to our show, is a place we come at the start of the week and we set an intention and get into a mindset and get into a state of empowerment and motivation so that this gets to be an epic week. So I love to ask at the beginning, who's available for this week to be epic? All right. I want to hear epic in the comments and the chats. Who is available for this to be an epic week? Because it really does get to be, it's a choice that we make. We can open up to receive more, to give more, to contribute from the deepest parts of ourselves and our soul, to create connection in a world that is increasingly feeling disconnection. Right? I feel like that is such a potent, powerful thing that we get to do here together every Monday. And yes, exactly. Francis is here ready to get epic. Larice, Katrina, Lisa, Michelle, Karen's here. Oh my gosh. It's so good to see you all. Paige is here, Diane. So welcome, welcome. All right. We are going to do a conversation today with the amazing Diane Wilson. I'll tell you a little bit about Diane. She's going to talk about where her thought leadership has taken her and what's coming up this fall, because we are 1 week out from women starting movements. And Diane, I believe you will be with us in person. So those of you watching are going to get to meet Diane in person in Chicago next week, those of you that are joining us. And we won't be having a lounge because we'll be in prep for the event. But Diane is a woman who is leading a movement. And it's going to be really exciting for us to have a conversation. And if you have some questions, as Diane and I get started, you can put them in the chat. And then I will be, as interviewer, I will pose those questions to Diane. So before we start that piece of our broadcast today, I want us to take a deep breath and just acknowledge yourself. I am absolutely certain that there's something you've accomplished this month, since it's the last week of the month, that's been really awesome. It might be something personal for your health. You swapped out some food that wasn't as good for some food that's better, or maybe you got more sleep. We're going to talk about that today. Maybe you let go of a relationship or something that isn't serving you so much anymore. Maybe you launched something. Maybe you made an invitation for someone new to work with you. Maybe you hit an income goal. I know some of our Thought Leader Academy clients message they've had their biggest income month of the year in September so far. So I'd love to hear in the comments and the chat a win that you've had this month in September so that we can really acknowledge great leaders, acknowledge their wins. They acknowledge the contribution they're making. Yeah, is there still more to do? Yeah, did we get everything done perfectly? Of course not. Of course not. Right? And I heard this beautiful, beautiful phrase from Abraham Hicks. Some of you might know this one, that we can never get it wrong and we'll never be done. While we are here in this plane of being on earth, we actually don't ever get it wrong. We might do something a way that we don't want to do again and change it. We might do something and it didn't work out and we learn how to do it differently. But there really is only learning and winning. We can never get it wrong and we're never done. We're never going to feel like, oh, it's time to sit on the hammock and drink margaritas. Like that sounds fun, maybe in theory or not, but we wouldn't ultimately, I don't believe, stay healthy and fulfilled very long. because we're here to grow and contribute and evolve, right? And not that we don't want delicious hammock vacations looking at the ocean. I'm all for it. I look at Karen's background here on Zoom with the ocean, right? It's fantastic. Okay, I want to hear some of these wins. Yes, Larice hired her first book editor. Congratulations. Diane has a new client and finished her beta. That is awesome. Lisa Michelle, more intentional protection of boundaries. That is huge. That will yield so much good. Frances, you've been writing and feeling energized. Frances did our best-selling book intensive, so that's fantastic. Paige, you rode a new horse in a fun show on Saturday. Okay, I'm putting that on my vision board now. I want to ride a horse. That sounds so fun. Dawn launched her second podcast. Congratulations. Karen's got a new direction for her book that's way bigger than when she started. Lauren, you tweaked your fitness routine, gained strength, and lost a little weight. I'm doing strength training. I'm actually trying to gain some weight. I'm bulking up now, guys. I love it. So Lauren, you and I are strength training together. And Lynette, you separated from negativity. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. Take a breath and scan your body. And even in this just minute that we spent acknowledging our own and each other's wins, see if that changed the way you feel at all. Like, my body is actually vibrating right now, just reading your wins. Like, I actually feel a vibration in my chest, in my arms. Yes. I love Katrina. You started planning for 2024 and you get to reflect and brainstorm for next. Love it. I love it. So Frances is vibrating too. Jennifer, you started your sample chapter for your book proposal. I mean, you are getting after it. All right. Well, prepare to be inspired, because as we get ready to be together, many of us at Women Starting Movements in Chicago next week, we are having this whole series of women who are already leading movements. And Diane Wilson is one of those women. So Jill, if you bring Diane up to the stage, and I'll share a little bit about Diane and she can fill in some blanks, because Diane, even since we've connected, I'm sure so many more things have been happening. So I want to hear hello and welcome to Diane in the chat and the comments. Let's give some love as we welcome the beautiful and brilliant Diane Wilson. And Diane was in our very first pioneer group of Thought Leader Academy. So Diane, we got to be together at the very beginning of this journey. You and I had even met before that, which is a whole different podcast, but you are the best-selling award-winning author of this incredible book, Brain Dance. And you can see the beautiful poster of Diane's book behind her there. It's an incredible book. I have copies, that shelf right over there. And you know, Diane, this is an amazing memoir that really shares the journey of your own traumatic brain injury and a complete metamorphosis in your life to actually become someone who does neuroscience, who helps train people's brains. I've worked with you and received neurofeedback work with you in your process. And you now have presented at Harvard, and you are on podcasts, and you host events, and you work with doctors and scientists and leaders and people in their fields, helping them, whether it's recovering from an injury or developing peak performance with their brain. And we're going to talk about a really important topic for any kind of brain health and overall health, which is sleep today. So what did I miss? What else do you want people to know about you and your movement?
Oh, lots. I can take it over anytime. It's so exciting. Well, first of all, that I'm incredibly grateful. You were life-saving in terms of, I had a book in my mind after the accident that I was in for about 14 years. And it just felt like the accident followed my first book. And I always felt like there was another book that I wanted to write. And every time I sat down, it was about the accident and what had happened in my life since. And so then in meeting Sara and looking at what she was doing in terms of thought leadership, I hooked on to the energy, and over a period of 2 years wrote and pitched my book at the Harvard Health Conference, which was a life-changing experience. I think what I want to tell people about Sara's approach for me is that it really helped me look at what I was doing and move it from, oh, I wish I would do this someday, to oh my gosh, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm doing it. And it's really, and to come from the right place on it, to be like, this is my mission. This brain science, hope, recovery, understanding our brain, taking control of our life. This is my life. So I felt like our work and the movement that you have started put together that and straightened it up and just became a backbone for my journey. And so I think, so it became a bestseller, like 12 awards,
Yeah.
including monetary awards, which totally exceeded my expectations. I mean, it was like, what? I don't think I could have envisioned what happened. It was, and for the first 3 months of no, longer than that, a letter every day. You touch my life.
Mm,
This is important to me. This explains what happened to my life. This helps me understand my son. And so I
mm,
felt like the book came from a good part of me, and in terms of sharing this story, I was able to touch a lot of people,
mm.
and still am, which just is a huge honor.
Oh my gosh, Diane, I feel like everybody who's here on Zoom, I mean, take this in, right? Diane showed up
Mhm.
knowing you'd had this book in you for 14 years. And then you felt like, okay, the thought leader pathway is what I'm looking for. We got to join forces, obviously, tremendous honor of my life to get to be a small piece of this. And then it exceeded expectations, right? With the awards and the impact, those letters, right? Those letters from people whose life you are continuing to change. So, Diane, the reason I was extra excited to have you on now is because just like in a great epic story, right? It's never
Mhm.
the end. Like we talked about that kind of, we're never done. And so even though some would say, oh my gosh, Diane, you did it, right? Like you can sit back and I wrote the book, I won awards, I presented at Harvard, I got money, all these
Mhm.
things. But you said this is a mission, right? This isn't just about those wonderful milestones, even however wonderful and enjoyable they are for us. So can
Mhm.
you share, like, where has the movement taken you? Because there's a whole new focus of your work right now. And actually, you guys, I haven't heard this yet. So I was like, Diane, I want to have you come on and share what's going on now, because I'm eager at the end of my seat. So tell us a little bit about where the movement is taking you next.
Where it's taking me is, well, then came the pandemic,
Yeah.
and my book came out in 2021, but my focus was watching people manage the pandemic, especially physicians, healthcare, super stressed out, suicides, and just the pain of going through this much stress. And
Mm.
so I felt like it's like finding your mission is looking inside and going, what do I love doing? What do I want to do? And it's like, I love sleep. Like, I think people need to sleep. In executive coaching, when people don't sleep, they don't do well. Our creative self doesn't come through. I had insomnia for a while. It was like, uh, I learned so much
Me
from
too.
all of this. So I looked at kind of what I've been doing. I really had to face the fact that I'm pretty obsessed with sleep. Like, I can ask
Mhm.
people about sleep in the strangest situations. Like, I
Yes.
always look at people and go, I wonder how they sleep. And so it's just my it's just my preoccupation, because I know that it's important and it's personal passion. But so in the last year, then I signed on for this course to develop a content of a program that I'm just finishing. So I'm super excited. It pulls together like my background in career development,
Yep.
executive development, but also in neuroscience. So it's like taking the strongest tools that I can see to help people sleep. There are so many people that I think the way they approach sleep is they try a few things that they can see, and if they don't work, they feel hopeless.
Yes.
And 1 in 3 people suffer from some sleep challenge, and many people take sleep medications, when really, if you for many people, if you understand the neurobiology of sleep, that you can master this. Now, there'll
Yes.
be people who have sleep apnea and physical conditions, and everyone see a doctor, but I think that there are things that that I found in putting this together and in my work that will make a huge difference. I mean, a life-changing difference in sleep.
Diane, if I may share personally with everybody, just because your work has impacted and positively, I during the pandemic panic called Diane and said, I got to do neurofeedback. Is there a way I can get, at home? Because it's typically something you have to do in person with a practitioner. And Diane, you and your team were able to help with that. And the reason I made that panicked call, just so you all know, who don't know this part of my story. So after I'd had some trauma, I was in pretty serious PTSD, and our twins died, as some of you know that part of our story. And I was in really bad shape, honestly, like in terms of, and the main symptom that was so unbearable is I couldn't sleep. And I also did not want to be on medication and get addicted to, I was concerned about that, right? Like I didn't want to go down a road where I'm dependent and having increasing tolerance for this different medication. So I was really committed to finding a different path and a different solution. And when I did neurofeedback, before Diane had this journey and was doing that same modality, I found another practitioner, and it was the only thing. Diane, I tried it all, right? I've done all the meditation, hypnosis, everything. And the neurofeedback was so powerful. I want everyone to hear, because this is what Diane does in addition to other modalities, that it was so powerful that I went from truly not sleeping ever through the night, without either if I was going to take medicine or I just had to stay up, to basically sleeping 99% of the time with I would meditate and go to sleep because of this type of work and the other things Diane's, bringing into the new. I can't wait to learn the new work, right? And so I share this because, I was told by the insurance company I needed to be, it was a quote in my chart, severely medicated. And with the kind of work Diane does, I've been on zero medication, and I sleep really well. The occasional one night here and there, I'm kind of processing something, which is like a very normal thing, right? And so this is why I'm such a huge advocate and ambassador, Diane, for the work that you do, because there are solutions that people just don't know about. I would never have known that was something that could help, changing my breath, changing my routine, changing my, self-hypnosis, doing the neurofeedback. So Diane, how will this work with people? Will they participate in a group with you to learn this? Like what is the way that you'll be able to train people in these different techniques?
Well, the approach to training is very much with what I learned from you. And that's that you want to move from doing and figuring out the things that we want to do to make a difference, to doing them, to actions that we're doing, and then to becoming that. So it's doing and eventually being the solution. So they're natural. So anyway, everybody knows something about sleep. So you want to move from knowing to doing. Yes. A lot of people think they know. A lot of people think they can change their sleep by knowing. It's like, oh yes, I know. And I'm one of them. It's like for a long time, I know this, but am I doing it? And then eventually, like it's natural and your body knows you've learned all these things and you do it so naturally. So that's generally the format. And then actually dealing with the saboteurs, that every time you make some progress, you can be sure that a saboteur will pop into your mind. Right. It's like, no, this isn't going to happen. You've tried this before. It's not. So a lot of the approach in this is looking at the saboteurs. We do weekly, bi-weekly actually coaching sessions. There are videos, there are quizzes. There's a lot to learn. There are fun facts to learn. So I looked at all the different modalities to help people really sink into the material and just be smarter and feel more confident because of it.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Diana, I'd love that you bring up the distinction, and everybody in the chat, I would love to hear in the comments, are there things that you're not doing? So this can be things would help your business, but you're not doing. It would be good to write every day, but we're not writing every day. We know it'd be good to turn off the media at 9 o'clock at night and start to create a different routine, to calm down and go to sleep, but we stay up and, watch something till 11 o'clock. Right. So put knowing, if you, like Diane and I have both, a cop too, that we've experienced that. And I love, Diane, for me, it's taken accountability, like being in a group, like you're going to be leading, or being with a coach, or being with a practitioner, so that I'm accountable to do instead of just know.
Right.
I think it's really, really exciting because that's where the transformation, it's not inspirational. Ooh, that's cool. It's transformational, which is
Right.
different.
Oh, in the psychophysiology, the part that they'll do is in terms of biofeedback will ready the nervous system. It'll make it more flexible. It'll be easier to learn. That's the other thing. We try to learn things, but we're not in the right state. We have to train ourselves to, most of us need to calm down. It's like we're on this sympathetic nervous system, fight and flight. Of course, we're just trying to make it through life, and it's been stressful, and we get stuck there. And then when we lay down at night, it's like yours is, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this, and our poor nervous system is stuck. So the biofeedback, and people have their own device, they'll practice at home.
Oh, so cool.
They really make a difference. Everything is very brain based, brain body based, looking at, I think we need to start with the body, help our body move along, and learning is easier.
It's
So,
amazing. Yeah. What were you going to say?
but the thing I notice is that when people change their life, change their sleep, they change their life. And so part of this will be setting life goals. Like people lay awake worrying about things. And so what are those things? And do you want to set goals around those? So learning to sleep will actually change your life in many ways. So that's what we'll focus on as a broader picture, specific behaviors, psychophysiology, and then the broader picture.
I mean, I'm so excited about the fact that the aha I just had from what you shared, Diane, is that often, I know this has been true for me, that right when you lay down, you're tired, but then your mind maybe goes to worrying about a problem that's unsolved or something, a challenge we're having. And so what I love is you're helping people actually reclaim that time and saying, hey, let's actually, instead of worrying at that time, let's focus on, you're going to, in the daytime, when you're not at that point of trying to go to sleep, let's set some goals, or what are some solutions, right? That might be there for you, so that you're taking care of that. It's like so that when it is time to do these other routines, your mind isn't going to that place. Because I know I'm not alone. I've heard many people say that it's like the minute I lay down, suddenly the worry, or I wake up at 4 a.m. and there's the worry, right? And so, Diane, this is such crucial work. And I know there's an incredible amount of research about the link between sleep and longevity, sleep and happiness, sleep and performance, sleep and creativity, right? So I think it's so exciting. And how can people best find you, Diane, if they want? I know some people were asking about hormone health and how can people best reach out to you if they want to find out more about this new phase of your movement?
Yes, thank you. My website is greatsleep.life.
Awesome. I'll put it in the
It's
chat.
not .com. It's
Great.
.life.
I like it's .life. I love
Yes.
that that's the thing now. Oh my gosh. I love that. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to put it in the chat. And now I want websites with .life. That's absolutely incredible. That's amazing. Diane, is there anything last wisdom you want to, you've already done, it's given us so much richness. Is there any last advice, any last wish, anything you want to share with everybody today?
I think people need to go easy on themselves. That sleep is multifaceted, and I think our self-critical saboteur kicks in, and then we start that critical thinking. So just kind of know that 1 in 3 people suffer with sleep, and that breathe and learn, and you'll find your way through this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, everybody, if you have anything up with sleep, if you haven't had the gift, like I have of working with these type of incredible modalities and with Diane, please reach out and go to greatsleep.life. And Diane, I'll see you in a week. This is so exciting that we'll be together in Chicago. I'm counting the days.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for letting me share today.
Amazing. Oh, congratulations. Everyone, let's give Diane so much gratitude. Let's light up the chat and the comments for sharing your beautiful movement. And we'll see you next week in person.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. My heart is full, everybody. I know what a difference it made to get real help in a way that felt safe and healthy to me around something that really was bringing me into despair. Like insomnia brought me a feeling of true despair because I was so powerless to fix it, change it. I didn't know what to do. And I didn't want to have some of the side effects that come with other types of work. So I'm so grateful to Diana. And what did you get most out of that interview, everybody? I'd love to hear, like, what was it about the evolution of a movement, right? Diana did her book first, and then she was podcasting and speaking and presenting at places like Harvard. And now she's got this incredible new work where she's going to be able to coach people in groups and make sure that they not just know it, but they do it. Right. So yeah, Karen, you were feeling like just so deserving of her great success. Absolutely. Took the leap of faith and moved forward. Katrina, Larice reminded me about going back to the sleep routine that works. Absolutely. My husband has a joke that me going to sleep is like landing the space shuttle. It's not like, oh, we just turn out the lights and we're all asleep. Like, that's him. It's like, I use amber glasses, I have white noise, I meditate. I mean, there's a lot of pieces, but it works. It works. And I have healthy, good sleep now. And it's helped with everything. Yeah. And Diane, Lauren, you're looking forward to better sleep. I love it. Before we conclude today, again, we will be off the next 2 weeks on the lounge because we will be facilitating our event and then recovering from our Chicago event. If there are any of you that are on the wait list that did not get an email yet about your ticket, please send an email right after this to care@saraconnell.com, because some of you we reached out to and we got you a waitlist ticket, and it for some reason, we haven't seen the registration. So we will help. Our team will literally help you do it manually if you need to. Okay. So if you are one of those people that have been on the wait list for a couple of weeks and still want to join us in Chicago, there were a few of you that we were able to get tickets for. We were begging. They added an extra row of seats in the room. So without messing up the fire code. So you will all be with us in spirit. If you aren't coming live, we've got some incredible virtual events coming later this fall. So we will be together back in the lounge regularly on Mondays, and then with some really exciting masterclasses and challenges and things coming up later in the fall. So oh yeah, Larice, yes, we had that all approved for you. So I think some of the emails just aren't getting through. So yes, we are excited to have you join us and staying wherever you want. So that's an example. See, I'm glad we're on the lounge and we can make sure to answer those questions. So just email our team if you had any questions like Larice did, but I happen to know the answer to that one, Larice. And I am really looking forward to an extraordinary fourth quarter. I really believe that in the months of October to December, we can do more, contribute more, impact more, and receive more abundance than in the entire first part of the year, all the way up until this point. It's happened many, many times. And yes, those of you that are like, I'm declaring I'm coming to the next event. Yes, in person, you sure do. So this is a really exciting time. The first day of fall, the equinox was Saturday. So that just opened up energy where we can really move forward and contribute and be the leaders we came here to be. So that is what I already see for all of you. I'm excited to continue the journey together, and we'll be back in a couple weeks live, and we will see many, many, many of you in person next week. So much love to everybody. See you next time. Get good sleep.